there, and welcome back to part 2 of my new resin journey. Well, it's not a new resin journey, but re-resurrecting a resin journey? I don't know. Anyway, right, so they've had 2 coats, they've had 2 coats, they've had 2 coats. That one is had 2, well, I'm saying coats, I mean pours, 2 separate pours, and that one's had 2 separate pours as well. I've finished, I put some spare resin into that, and you can see there's some more spare resins down there as well. Just going to pop that to one side for a minute. Now these, it was just leftover resin. I had put magnets in the bottom of these little pots, so I've just poured them. I'm obviously going to have problems with my words today, guys, so bear with me. Again, it's being a bad week. But yeah, I quite like these. The glitter has sunk a little bit. Some of the bigger chunks have sunk a little bit, but not as much as previously because I left it a bit longer before I poured them. They have come out slightly matte. I think that's because it's not really made to be a mould. It's just for pouring resin, mixing small batches of resin to pour. But I quite like them, I have to say. I have 4 of them now, and I think I am probably going to use them quite a lot. They need a little bit of sanding on the bottom, and I mean, I might even try and buff that matte finish up. I'm just looking at one of them now. I might even try and buff that matte finish up a bit, but I don't know, we'll see. But I quite like them as they are, so yeah. Right, I think we can move on now. We've seen them. Get them out of the way. What we're going to do next. Right, this one I'm not going to demold because I just used up the rest of the pink that I made for the heart on the Kuromi, but it's not filled it, so I still need to fill that. This one is going to have another pour on it for the sort of background. This one I forgot to do the face white, so the face is kind of lilac. So the next time round I would definitely do the face white. But this also needs a 3rd pour. And then this one needs a 3rd pour. Now, as I said in my previous videos, the top 2 Kuromi ones, it didn't work out very well because I used my blowtorch on them and it basically welded them to the mould. So I've wrecked the moulds getting them out. This one is basically finished, but I forgot to do that iridescent, well, not iridescent, that shimmery white anyway. I forgot to put some in the ear, so I just need to put a tiny bit of that in the ear to tie it in. There is a couple of little air spots on there, air dots on there. I will fill them in, but they will still be noticeable because I'm probably not going to use pink to do it. The rest of that I just poured in there. I wanted to see what it looked like if I just sort of stopped, you know, poured some in and let it stop where it stopped, and then poured a second colour on the top of it. I used up the rest of that in these, but again, I have said that these are not necessarily going to work very well. I might try, they're sloped. The chin is more protruding than the forehead, so they're on an angle, so your stand would be on an angle, which I suppose sometimes might be okay. But I might try and make some sort of a jig so that the whole tray is kind of tilted and they will turn out flat, if that makes sense. I'll have to show you. I did one of these little crystals in this blue as well. I do quite like that blue mix. I think it turned out quite nice. There's some silver stars in there and stuff. It looks quite cute. So yeah, this is just like, I'm just using up leftover resin in these basically, but you can see the angle on it there. It's a shame because they would be quite nice. They're quite a nice size to use as stands. But like I say, I'll have to see if I can try and figure something out with it to make it, well, I suppose it would make it uneven on the bottom so that when they sit they're even. Oh, I'm even confusing myself now. Again with the cats, the whole cat, the same scenario goes. I've already mixed some resin there. It's been standing for a while, so most of the bubbles have come to the surface. I've got some white mica powder and some white alcohol ink, and then some purple mica powder and purple alcohol ink, because that's going to be the vibe today, because it's mainly Kuromi. I have sped this up a little bit. We're on like 200% at the moment. So I am pouring that quite slowly and carefully so as not to introduce any more air, or as little air as possible. I'm going to mix these so it's going to have a little bit of air introduced into it. Unfortunately, it's just the way it goes. I did put rather a lot of mica powder in this because I did want it to be quite shimmery. You don't need a lot of mica powder. Generally, if you just want a slight shimmer, it takes literally next to nothing to get that effect. But I wanted it to be quite sort of dense and pearly, and you'll see some dark spots on my spatula. That's actually cured resin that's got bits in it, so that isn't mixing into the resin that I'm mixing. Everything I say sounds wrong today, even when it's right. So, you see that sort of bubbly effect that I got on there? I'm not quite sure why that happened on the one that's already cured. The bubbly whitey colour. I quite like it, but I don't know how I did it. If anyone's got any tips, let me know. Faffing off screen, sorry. Still getting used to this new camera setup, and I might have a new camera next week. We shall see. I have irons in the fire. I think I might have found one that's the camera that I wanted at a fairly good price, but we'll see. It's local, so I'm supposed to be going and picking it up on Thursday. Today is Tuesday. We shall see. I think I moved that over and then topped it up a little bit more, because I tried to move one over the other day that was completely full and spilt it everywhere. Made a right old mess. Oh my word, it was horrendous. So yeah, not if you've got a mold that's already got something cured in it and it's quite solid, then you can usually move it very carefully. But if you are pouring into a mould that's got nothing else in it and you just putting wet resin in there, you want to do it somewhere that you don't have to pick it up and move it, because they are floppy. It's very easy to make a big old mess. I don't know whether I did the same with that one. Yes, I think I did. Moved it over to my other desk and then... Oh, maybe not. No, maybe not. Ah, yeah, because I wasn't sure how much I was going to have left. So I've poured that in there. It's not full, so I'm mixing a bit more resin. I think I put some glitter in it as well, some like purple glitter. I don't know whether I'm going to let you see that or whether I'm just going to keep faffing off screen, because I'm useless. So I've put some white mica in there by the look of it, and probably some white alcohol ink as well, but I'm pretty sure I put some glitter in there. Get on screen, woman. There's the glitter. So yes, definitely some glitter went in there. Again, quite a lot of glitter, and some of it sank, but it's obviously only going to sink down to the levels that are already cured. Glitter does tend to sink unless you want to leave it till right the last minute. You can get some super fine glitters that don't sink, but general glitters, and the chunkier the glitter, the more it's going to sink. Now I wanted this to mix, so I'm putting a little bit of it all over the place, and then I'm going to kind of swirl it around so that it mixes with the resin that I've already put in the mould. The uncured resin that I've put in the mould, obviously. Now, no matter what you do with resin, no matter what you put in it, whether it's colours, glitters, charms, embellishments, foil, anything, don't assume that when you take it out the mould that it's going to be in the same place as you put it, because things move around in uncured gel and it takes such a long time to go off. Uncured gel, it's not gel, it's resin, you muppet. I'm so used to saying uncured gel. So yeah, they'll sink, they'll rise, they'll do their own thing. So it's always a little bit of potluck how things are going to turn out. And there's so many different techniques and stuff that you can do and things that you can put in resin. But there's a lot of trial and error goes into it. And like I say, even when you know what you're doing, it doesn't always turn out the way you want it to. Now, sometimes that's for the better, but oftentimes it's not. And that's why these are all practice pieces, because I've not done resin for a while. I'm just doing the purple mica, the purple alcohol ink and purple glitter in this one now. Yeah, it's been a long time. Things have changed. Materials have changed, the resin's changed, the moulds have probably changed a little, although not as much, but the resin's definitely changed. It's a lot easier to work with now, a lot more pleasant to work with now. And I mean, this resin, I don't know, I've done a phone stand, and it's quite thin, and as I've shown previously on my resin videos, when this resin comes out, it's often still a bit soft, even after overnight or even 24 hours. And the thinner it is, the more that's noticeable, in my experience. And I have let that, I demolded it, and I've let it sit for 2 days, and then I put it together, and it's quite a tall stand. It's because it's for quite big phones. And I left it about an hour, and I came back, and it was still curving, so there was still movement in it. It's now been probably 3 or 4 days since I took it out the mould, and I think there's still a bit of movement in it. I'm going to leave it another couple of days on a flat surface and see, but yeah, I mean, that could be a sort of a week's cure. And I mean, even then, I'll be honest, I'm not going to be selling them until I've use them for a while and seeing how they go, because I actually got a load of my resin stuff out of storage a couple of weeks ago, and that's been, I mean, that was, I'd say 7 or 8 years ago, and some of it, and it's been in the shed, so it's been hot and it's been cold, but some of it had warped. Thankfully none of it had discoloured, which I was actually quite surprised about, because I did have some clear pieces in there, but yeah, some of it had warped, which I was quite surprised about. Some big pieces, like I have like a three tier stand, like cake stand thing, and that had warped, and the bottom plate on that is big, and it's all quite thick as well. Now this is another day, and I'd got some new moulds. I got them off a local seller on Marketplace. They were super cheap. This is a heart that it comes with its own stand. You make a stand for it as well, so it will stand upright, which I thought was quite funky. And there's 3 of these moon ones. One's got a little girl. It looks kind of like Alice in Wonderland. One's got a cat in the moon. No, cow. Unicorn, though. Always a good thing. This little paw, which I think is going to be adorable. I'm going to try and take that little nub out. It's for like a key ring or whatever. I'm going to try and take that nub out so I can use it as a palette or a stand. 5 little crosses. Well, they're not that little, but I thought they might be quite cool, like useful. This frog I'm quite excited to try as well. And I got 4 little trinket boxes as well with lids, which I thought was quite nice, in different shapes. And I think I paid like 25 quid for all of these. This is the phone stand. So like I say, it is quite thin. That bit slots through that and it sort of stands up like that. And I had one previously when I used to do resin, and I did use it a lot. And I used the stand that I made out of it a lot as well. This I think is more like a cake baking sort of thing. But I thought it was quite cute because again, it's bees and Mancunians, bees. People from Manchester would just love our bees, what can I say. This is the stuff that I'd just done on the previous video. This is all final pours, I think, so ready to be demolded. So this is where the problems start. Yay! So, first off, I was showing Stacey. I had a camera in front of me, or facing in front of me as well. So the back of that needs cleaning off. And sanding down, and all the edges need smoothing off as well, but it did work out quite well. Yeah, I'm saying something to Stacey there, but yep. So let's demold this one. This one turned out okay. These had been in the mold overnight. So yeah, that one worked quite well. I wasn't as careful with the white as I should have been on the bow. There was a bit of bleeding there. I should have cleaned that up a little bit better, but I couldn't really tell because it's on a white mold. I did 2 of these purple crystals because I love it. I love the purple, and I didn't want to waste it. So I made 2 more crystals out of the leftover resin. Some of them are, sometimes they're a little easier to get out than other times, but it does seem to be working quite well, that mould. So we've got the little Kuromi one. Again, this had 3 pours. And all that's left to do on this one is to paint the eyes in with acrylic and then just go over them with UV resin to bring out those details on the face. And that works out quite nicely. And here's where the problem starts. So you can see that some of it's coming off really easy and some of it is just completely welded on. It just does not want to come off. And I was really confused by this because, like I say, I've used blow torches in the past on my resin and it's not been an issue. And again, this one here, you can see that the mold is starting to fatigue where I'm trying to pull it away from the piece and it's just not having it. So I ended up having a bit of a tant and doing the rest of it off camera. I wrecked the molds, so I have to order some new ones. But here are the finished pieces. I don't think I even show you the little Kuromi one. I might do, I might not, I can't remember. But we're nearing the end of this now anyway, guys. So you can see there's bits of the mold on the bottom of that there where it was, I had to cut it off with a, I think in the US you call them X-Acto knives, we call them craft knives or scalpels or whatever. But yeah, all in all, progress has been made, I feel. I'm getting used to doing the different, like I say, I wish I'd done the face on that white. I still need to pick out the eyes and stuff in the acrylics. I like the way the skull came out. Again, on the skull on that one, I would try and do it white at some point. I don't know how I'd do that though. I don't know whether it's doable. But yeah, all the features all need to be painted in. There's a tiny little air bubble in that as well. Again, I will put either discs or magnets on the top of those and then dome them with UV resin. So it's all good, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.